What's up, everybody? This is Jay, and this is my Snowfall Season 4, Episode 7 recap for Through a Glass Darkly. A lot's going on. Franklin got a lot of heat coming on his ass, and he don't even realize it. We got his daddy running his mouth. We got Reed tripping balls. Reed Thompson got to go and figure out what's going on with his money. We got Jerome and Louie having a little tension. Leon, he don't know he got a bounty on top of that big-ass fro. Let's get into it. Now, when it start off, we see that Franklin is talking with everybody, getting an update on what's going on, and we see Louie is still tripping, but Franklin think everything is cool because they didn't got the Leon back together. She's a little worried about, Fatback getting killed and his body getting dropped off in front of her club, but he said don't worry. Meanwhile, his daddy's sitting in the car still tripping on Irene, and he's sitting there with me, myself, and Irene. He go in, surprise, happy sobriety birthday, but he can barely crack a smile because he know he's about to snitch and blow everything away. Meanwhile, they got ribs, the macaroni, everything, and they just eating good, chilling. So now they all talking, going down memory lane. Sissy sitting there happy for, Alton and his sobriety. She talking about all the stuff he did and how her mama was tripping when she met him. And Louie like, yeah, I wonder what your mama would have said if she met me. And then Jerome like, no, you don't. And so she got a little salty or whatever. And so they blew it off. Everybody still continued to celebrate, gave a little toast and everything. Meanwhile, we see Reed getting ready to go to Panama to check on his money. He getting on the private jet with Avi, and he's real like in a zone. And so Avi started talking to him, saying, hey, you got to relax, man. Everything cool, have a drink. Meanwhile, we see Wanda. She trying to get herself together, look for a job. Then she asks Alton, hey, ain't you Franklin Saint Daddy? He said, yeah. And while they was talking, they hear a baby crying. So he go to check on where the baby crying from. He see the baby on the floor by itself with the parents gone. So they go look for him and find the daddy out there pooped out, cracked out, smoked out, froze. That's what you call straight stuck. And of course, he had the crack pipe and he dead. Meanwhile, Franklin and Peach Cobbler roll into the spot when all of a sudden Peaches knows that somebody following him. So he pulls over and he pops out like Ice Cube. Is there a problem here? And next thing you know, they bust a Huey and they out. So he goes back to the car ready to chase him. But Franklin said, don't worry about it. They know where we was going. They trying to find out who the plug was. Let's go. Meanwhile, we see that Alden talking to the cops saying what happened. And they like, hey, man, they on the rock, man. That's what happened. They heart freeze up. And then the social worker saying that she ain't got nowhere really to put both the kids, but she gonna try maybe a relative. Meanwhile, we see that Leon trying to get the projects back in order. He done linked up with Lil Easy E, and next thing you know, they go over there with Big Debo sitting there working out with scoliosis. He telling him, hey, that's Fatback cousin. He pissed, and so he like, look, man, Fatback wasn't no gangster, but he was real, man. He kept everybody fed. What you gonna do? And Leon trying to squash everything, but then he pull out them little chesticles ready to do the peck pop on his head, and Leon keep his cool because he know he don't want none of that man meat all on his ass. So he leave. He tell him take his Jerry curl head ass on with him. So meanwhile, we see that Franklin go to meet up with the plug, and it's only Gustavo. He like, man, where Reed, man? Last time I saw him, he was drunk, sniffing. He all right? He say, he's okay, man. Don't worry. He say, you asking him? He said, I would ask, but he ain't here. Meanwhile, we see his pop sitting there talking with Sissy, and he telling her about crackhead that died, and he feel bad for the kids. And she say, well, what can we do? He like, we can stop. Let's leave. Let's get out the game. She like, I ain't gonna leave and abandon my son again. He like, well, we can stop. And she said, I told you, 2-year plan. He like, if you believe that, you crazy. Meanwhile, Reed come up out the bathroom with a little nose run, and I'll be like, oh, you're not going to share, huh? So he give him a little bit of booger sugar to spread the wealth or whatever. He get a little sugar up in him, and he feeling good. He start telling him, hey, I used to be like you, and I was with the intelligence, and then I went too far. I had to burn out. And he telling them about a bomb he planted, and they like surprised. Meanwhile, we see this fake salt and pepper roll up, and they asking about this bounty. They like, yeah, you said it's a bounty, 5 stacks if we kill Leon. Here we go. They open the trunk, and this old Leon wannabe dead on arrival. And they like, where's the money? They like, that ain't Leon. Get your ass out of here. They like, well, give us at least 4 stacks, 3 stacks. 500? I mean, we had to do a lot to set him up. We had to hire a babysitter. He had to pull the gun. Get y'all fake ass Spinderella and salt and pepper ass up out of here. Meanwhile, we see that Leon going to ask Jerome for help with the OG and the projects, and Louie trying to like tell him no, don't help. But he like, look, I help with the OGs. I know how it is. You know, gangbanging is about community. Fatback kept him fed. I'll come with you. And so Louie mad, talking about, why you going to go with him? He said, hey, you said we can't stop. We got to keep the CIA man off our ass, right? Okay then. And so now she feeling a little salty and look like she mad. She told Jerome because he kind of pissed. Meanwhile, the man boy pissed at his sister because she got a damn bounty on him and got all type of people killing whoever look like whatever, messing up. She thinks she doing what's right, talking about, well, it's going to take some time to call off the hit, so you better do what you got to do. He said he had something in the works. Meanwhile, we see Alton at the bar, but he getting club soda. Next thing you know, he talking with Connie Chung, spilling the beans on the recorded line, talking about, yeah, none of this can be on the record. And he's dumb enough to actually believe this. What a damn fool. Meanwhile, we see Jerome pour out a little liquor, making some beer-battered burgers, and he over here got the food smelling good in the hood. And so we see Leon over there, and then Wanda come, her booty then came back and everything. She almost looking good. She like, Leon, I didn't know that was Franklin daddy. He's like, yeah, well, so I didn't think it was important. She like, well, I need a job and I got some information for you. He like, well, whatever it is, you need to spill it. And then here come Big Swoleosis. He tell her to get the hell out of here. So while Swoleosis was talking with Leon, here come Jerome. He like, yeah, I know you, man. When you working for Miss Olympia, you pushing 3 plates, 350. He like 4 plates. He like, okay. He like, you still gonna work and make it work? He like, I knocked somebody out for saying I'm on them broids. What's up with him? What you know him for? He like, we got business. He said, hey, sorry about your cousin, but we gonna make it right, man. Name your price. We got the soldiers. We gonna keep everybody fed. We got this money. What's up, man? Let's make it work. And so Leon and we see Swoleosis is starting to get it together. He told him about his soldier. He got a little baby Einstein over here breaking down numbers like it's nothing. Jerome surprised. I mean, he could have broke down 4 plus 4 and Jerome might have been surprised. Nevertheless, it's Leon, dumbass. We need more than just some smart man. Leon is small thinking and an idiot anyway. So then Swoleosis tell him, hey, we got more, whatever you need, just make it right. If it don't, it's on your ass. Meanwhile, we see Franklin with his mama. She got a new gold watch. She looking good, feeling good. He talking about, man, it's working. We got this new deal. You ever thought you could write off and give away $250,000? She said, no, but I knew you would, baby. Meanwhile, we see that Alton is over there with Irene, and she do live right around the corner, like she said, and she got all this stuff laid out, all this information, and he's sitting here making the deal, spilling the beans on the record, not realizing that he's about to kill and put everybody in jail. Meanwhile, Reed is in Panama checking on his bread. We got the Panamanian banker. She said, I'm sorry for the problem, but we got the money and we're going to get it back for you. He like, yeah, but who's the name of the person that stole my money? I can't tell you that, but we do have your money and it's going to be okay. Is it bank mother? He said, no, that's not acceptable. Who was working here? Who's the guy that stole my money? And so he walk off because they won't tell him. I'll be trying to tell him to be cool. He won't listen. Meanwhile, Alton come in. He could barely look at himself in the mirror, and Sissy say, what's wrong? He said, look, let me just say, anything I did for all of us. Meanwhile, in the projects, Jerome got the soldiers in line. He telling them, look, keep your strap ready. If you're always ready, you don't have to be ready. And he giving them the little orders, but then Leon, he gets the drop by little Pookiette. She comes behind him, little Pookina, and got the gun, talking about, it's 5 stacks on your head. I need that money. Little did she know, little Einstein had a gun to her head. He like, how you gonna get the money if you dead? So now she knew she done messed up, and she like, I just need the money. My family all smoked out. My sister's hungry. Leon put the gun to her head, and then he about to give her some money. He said, next time ask. But Jerome took the money back and said, hold up, what else you know about that bounty first? And so it looked like she about to spill the beans on the bounty. Meanwhile, we see Reed, and he on the phone. He done got from this connects, and he done found out who the guy was. But Avi knocked on the door trying to pour out a little liquor with him and relax. But he told him right now is not the time. But Avi said, don't do what I think that you're going to do, okay? And Reed closed the door on his old ass. So next thing you know, we see back at the crib, Connie Chung sitting here celebrating with a little bit of shots of hen dog with her husband. And he like, hey, look, man, I don't know about all this. I don't want to celebrate. And she like, what do you mean? I mean, this is what we always wanted. I mean, look what happened with your family and with my family. And he said, yeah, I know, but I mean, imagine what'll happen when all this stuff comes out. And she said, oh, it don't matter. I mean, we ain't together no more. My daughter live across country. I mean, who cares what happened to me? It's no big deal. He like, that ain't the case, okay? Irene, we do care about you. You be careful. And so meanwhile, we see that Franklin is sitting here telling them about the bounty. Of course, Louie is worried now. He's talking about, we got a bounty on our heads now. Y'all gonna get me killed. And Jerome like, that's what I've been trying to tell you. It's always been somebody trying to kill us. Meanwhile, here come his mama walking in real serious, talking about, we need to talk. So we see Reed in Panama, and he's sitting there waking up the banker in the bed like, where's my money? He didn't want to talk, so he injected him with a little bit of serum. So meanwhile, we see that Franklin sitting there with his dad and mom, and she's sitting there, he like, I just couldn't believe, I just knew she was mistaken when she told me this. He like, look, Franklin, everybody already knows it's about to be out. He said, why didn't you tell me about this so we can handle it? He like, oh, what? So, I mean, well, there's no choice. We had to get in front of it. I mean, is all this story gonna come out? Everybody knows. She already know. And then Franklin yelling at him. He like, what you gonna do? Kill me like you did Andre? And so now he done threw that in Franklin's face. But he talking about, look, we done survived a lot. The Middle Passage, slavery, Reconstruction. He naming all type of stuff that African Americans survived, but not them in particular. And then he told Franklin, you pushing the rock, we can't survive that. Franklin cold cocked him upside the head with the pistola. He laid out. Sissy run, pushed Franklin up against the wall to go check on her little boo. And so it's while he's sitting there bleeding on the top of his head, Franklin telling him, look, don't ever call me son no more. You ain't my dad. Get out of here, Alton. Leave. And so he's still trying to talk and start singing some little poetry or whatever about, you know, the Darkly or whatever. And he like, man, get your ass out of here. So he leave because basically instead of coming to them up front, he done basically put them in the situation of either dead or in jail, and Franklin know it. Meanwhile, Reed is still checking on what happened to this money. Who is this dude? He like, so what, did you try to smoke me out? What did you do? He like, I don't know what you're talking about. I work at the bank. I don't do it. I handle transfer. So he lay him out, and next thing you know, he drowning him with a waterboard. And so now dude is up here, you know, deep sea fishing, and then he about to scream and stuff. So meanwhile, Gustavo getting a call from Franklin. Franklin worried, trying to tell him this is very important. I need to talk to Reed. Gustavo don't know how serious though. And while he's there, he gets some paperwork that is talking about Teddy and need to change his identity. It's talking about Lucia. And now he's starting to realize that there's some real heat going on. And so Teddy's sitting here trying to find out what's going on with this banker, why he steal the money, but before he can get answers, the policia busts in. Teddy had to dip out the window like he was Batman or something. And of course, Avi was with him. So did Avi snitch on Teddy and try to get him locked up? Is Avi behind it? Meanwhile, we see Franklin going to CT. He need to get a little relaxation, take a load off, if you know what I mean. And it don't take him long, you know, he a 2-minute brother up in there. So she go ahead and tell him, come over here and get some of this, you know, neck respect. She started rubbing his head and neck and everything. And he started to shed a tear, talking about, I think we in real trouble. Meanwhile, we see that Irene is sitting there typing up the story and talking about how the CIA and the U.S. government was pumping drugs into the black community, which is a good story that needed to be told, but it's going to bring a lot of heat and destruction to the people involved. Now it's time for some real talk. Now, of course, it's good that Alton is not on the Drizank no more. And of course, he probably does have a guilty conscience because he's seeing the community be destroyed with the drugs. He's seeing that baby left there alone because that dude wanted to get high and then he died. He sees all this stuff and he knows that although they making money, it's destroying people. So he is right about trying to stop, but he should have did things differently. And if he needed to, then he should have just walked away and he should have let everybody else make their own decisions. But now he's told way too much and implicated and brought way too many people lives and risk. And if he was trying to truly protect them, that wasn't the best way to do it. And so I think he really made a big mistake. He alienated his wife and son and put everybody live on the line talking to this damn reporter. And he's a fool to think that she could protect somebody when she live in the hood just like him, and she ain't the police. She don't have no money and no muscle, so who the hell is she? Also, what's up with who's following Franklin? I mean, he was right in not trying to chase them down and figure out who it was, because I mean, they would have just tried to evade. It's not like they would have went back to the home turf and he could have saw exactly who it was. Besides, it was only him and Peaches, and they didn't want to get toe up or in the shootout. But at the same time, he need to make that a priority on who's following him. And then also Leon, man, he almost got his head knocked off by Debo Jr. I mean, he started to do the peck pop in his face. Next thing you know, he was about to beat the brakes off his ass with them chesticles showing. But of course, Leon kept cool and he was able to get up out of there. But Leon needs to stop running his mouth and start to think more, because when they was talking about the soldiers, Leon talking about we need more than some math dude or whatever. And Leon is a small time thinker. It was smart this time though that when he needed help, he went to Jerome, and Jerome was there for him. Because when Leon make his own decisions and try to make plans, they go backwards, and then he end up running to the Saints anyway. So at least this time he did it before he made some stupid decisions. And then also, what's going on with Reed? Reed is really tripping. He using coke now. He getting drunk all the time. He's trying to, even Avi trying to tell him to chill. So if Avi trying to tell you to chill, something gotta be wrong. So we'll see what's going on with Reed. He definitely experiencing some burnout in the job, and we'll see what's up. Was he right in thinking this dude was trying to steal the money as a bigger part of a plan, or was it just some old quick type of come up? And also, what's up with these girls and stuff trying to pull this hit? You got Salt and Pepper trying to push it real good on the wrong people, and it's gonna end up causing a big problem. And they need to stop that before the Saints decide to put hits out on them. I don't know what makes them think that they can't do the same thing and end up having a war with all kind of people with mercenaries involved. So they definitely need to end that as soon as possible. And in the end, I'm wondering how this story gonna turn out. I mean, we all know the story broke and we all know what happened, but as far as the Saints and the reporter, Irene, and everybody involved, are they all gonna be able to survive once this heat is finally out? And so we'll see in the next episode. I want y'all to let me know in the comments below, what do you think? Do you think that Alton did the right thing in running his mouth to the reporter, or should he have told Franklin first? Chances are they may have killed her, or made it look like an accident and burned the whole house down with all her information, which would have been horrible. But the dope game is really horrible, and Alton is right in that it is destroying the community and they are doing what's wrong. But at the end of the day, that's the game they got into. He want to have a shelter. They had no other means of putting the shelter together other than using Franklin's money. They were poor. Franklin was working in the convenience store. His mama was struggling. He was an alcoholic. And it seems that he forgot all of this stuff in a real short period of time. And now they're in a position to do a lot more. And it seemed that he just threw that all away out of fear. And it's always best to communicate with your people first. So we'll see what happened in the next episode. Y'all let me know y'all comments, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.